Sugarbombed podcast. Today we have myself, Brimmer, and we have two co-hosts today. We have Mitch.
Hey guys, it's Mitch.
And we have Potato.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Today's a bit different because both of my regular co-hosts cancelled me, so I'm currently hunting one of them down right now with my shotgun. So they'll be very, very dead all out tomorrow. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. It's going to be very interesting. Anyway, so today we're going to discuss a few topics. Our first one is going to be VR and fitness. Now, to explain this, we could be in a new era where fitness directly affects your gaming performance, because we're currently using technology where you're strapped to a machine or you're on a treadmill, and it will affect your in-game character's speed, their mobility, etc. So we could actually see fitness directly affecting gaming, and it could be a new way to actually fight obesity. So I think it's a pretty interesting topic. So I'll pass this over to Potato if you want to put any points out.
Well, I guess I'm trying to kind of think about how many different ways this can go, and I'm thinking more in the context of, like, well, let's put it this way. So, have you guys ever played like a Kinect game?
No.
Okay. Well, like, those Wii Fitness games or whatever, and a lot of them, they're not really big selling points on those systems. So I'm thinking that, in this future where we have these games that are more fitness based, is that going to really improve on the variety of games that those types of games actually offer, or are we going to be stuck with the same type of variety of those types of games? So, for example, like, are we going to be able to run around with a VR headset like that and go into a game like GTA?
See, I'm hoping for that. It's gonna be, but it's gonna be complicated how it's gonna interact with the in-game world, because obviously, hypothetical, let's just say we have a machine that has 360, but no, actually I'll take it back, 360 mobility, so you can go in any direction. Your room size doesn't matter because the machine you're on. How are you going to interact with the world? How are you going to get into a car and all that? That's going to be interesting to see how that's developed.
Yeah, especially.
But I imagine.
Go ahead.
But I imagine that the way it'll go is games will integrate it, so it won't just be like Wii Fitness games. It'll be like Battlefield 10. So in Battlefield 10, you'll be able to get your headset on and all that shit, and you'll be able to be involved in the world. And it's optional to do VR. So you have the option of doing VR, or you have the option of sitting at your desk. But it could change in the future, so it could be just a VR a game. So it'll be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, I just think that one of the things that that's going to become complicated is, where, like, there are a lot of different factors. Like, for example, all right, medical. So if you have someone who's very overweight who wants to do this, that's great. But are they going to notice, if their heart starts to fail because they're exerting too much energy into playing one of these games? There needs to be some kind of, I guess, vital monitoring. So that way, if your vitals start to get out of whack, basically, maybe it will just automatically shut down the game and make you save. Or, another problem that I foresee is, getting the user to feel like they're not disoriented. So when you're walking in the direction you think you should be, and not the direction that it's actually going to make you walk. Those are the two big problems I personally see with that, but I think that otherwise that this would be an interesting aspect to add to games.
You see, the way I see it, which your first point is, it'll be like the same with treadmills. You can't really, even if the user is overweight, obese, they shouldn't be going on a treadmill. They still might. So, but there's some user fault to it. But the major issue I see at my own point is people with disabilities. For example, people who use their chin and mouth to actually play a game, because there's actually quite a few of those people who actually can do that, or people who are paralyzed. So it'll be interesting to see, because you don't want to discriminate against those users. That's why I see like a game not solely being a interactive VR experience.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I thought that if it was catered more towards the staying in fit aspect, that would have to be integrated somehow to make sure that users weren't. Here's a perfect example: World of Warcraft. I mean, how many people didn't eat for weeks when they were playing World of Warcraft? And it's not like, their body wasn't telling them they need to eat. It's just they weren't paying attention.
Yeah, I can kind of relate. But at the same time, it's more just being lazy and I don't know, just getting really into. I mean, I notice when I'm hungry, I'm in game. It's just like, but I've got to finish this quest. Or if it's a multiplayer game, I've got to finish this round. So yeah, Mitch, you've been pretty quiet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to firstly apologise. I'm a bit ill at the moment, with the cold. So, yes. But I all goofs aside, I do think VR is good, and if there's any way that I can get some exercise while playing games, I'm happy, because I don't tend to go outside often. So, I mean, I think it's great. Like, I like to be immersed in games, and if that's another thing I can use to be immersed, then hell yes, I want it.
I mean, like, it'd be great for someone like me who I go to the gym 2 to 4 times a week, and I usually go running. I usually go running with my cousin, who's just became a personal trainer, every morning, besides weekends. So it'd be great for me to, for those days where I'm like, I'm just gonna call in sick to my personal trainer and say, "Hey mate, I'm sorry, I'm sick," but if I did that, then I'd go back to my VR machine where I'm actually doing fitness, so it wouldn't be as big of a loss. Also, we do have a obesity epidemic, and obviously it's mostly about diet, but if people's hearts are running better.
I can say that I'm not obese, but my heart is screwed. It's pretty bad. So, like, if I was to do a huge amount of exercise, my heart would probably stop. So even from people with heart conditions, you just have to be careful. But the point of them trying to integrate it for everybody, it, of course, won't work. 'Cause you can't make everybody happy.
Well, here's an idea with that though. Think about it this way: if you were to make the VR not more about moving around the room, but how your posture is, right? So those I forget what they're called, but basically they're like stickers that you put on yourself when you're or mocap or whatever it is, and when you're doing animated movies, right?
Yeah.
So imagine sticking them all over your body, and every time you lunge forward, like, doesn't have to be extremely or lean forward or anything, whatever's natural, you'll start walking forward. Now, if you start lunging backwards, you'll start walking backwards. Now, I mean, I don't know how easy that would be to implement, but I mean, that would be something where people who couldn't be physically fit to use something like this and be more active could still use that feature without having to dedicate a lot of, there's a lot more resources, I guess, to playing that game. And same thing with people, like Boomer was saying, with disabilities, they can have different types of versions for that, maybe using eyes. So that's another possibility too, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely really interesting how this could affect gaming, because another way you can put it is, if we remove the negative health effects of, the health conditions of a user, let's say we're playing Battlefield 4 and it's a clan match. We're possibly seeing where, instead of people doing gaming boot camps where all they do is play on the computer for like 16-hour sessions, go to sleep like they do with the crazy South Korean shit that goes on, we could possibly see people exercising, doing an actual boot camp, and then going in-game. The other effect of this is you wouldn't be just training your fitness, you'd be also training your marksmanship skills, which I'm sure Fox News would love, because they would claim that we're training
They already
soldiers
do.
to kill people. Yeah, true. So that would be also an instant side effect, because in certain games you'd actually know how to operate a rifle. So it does get a bit interesting, especially if Fox News heard about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I honestly think that
But yeah,
the ultimate goal that would be cool with like a VR type situation would be and I know this isn't I don't know how remotely possible this even is, but I just think that this would be, like the pinnacle of this type of technology would be I don't know if you ever have watched Futurama, and where they have those where they go into the internet, and that's how you browse the internet in Futurama's time.
oops, sorry, that's my phone. Yeah, I saw that. That'll be cool in a way, but it'd be annoying, especially as a spam.
Oh yeah,
But
I meant
yeah,
more like
yeah.
so like Sugarbombed, for example. It's not
Yeah, I
like
mean, you'd actually go into a physical forum instead of a
yeah,
digital forum.
yeah. I think that would be like an interesting perspective for like the ultimate version of a VR world, I guess.
Mm, yeah, but yeah, another reason I'm hoping for my original topic about VR and fitness is I can continue to train my fitness. I can maintain a more healthy lifestyle. Obviously, fitness is only 20% of a good healthy body. The other 80% is diet. But even if it's just that 20%, I mean, you can improve your own well-being and the well-being of other people. So, do we have any final points before we move on to the next topic?
No, I think
No.
I'm pretty much good on this.
No. Okay, sweet. So the next topic is the future of Fallout 4 and Bethesda DLC. So to clarify what I mean by this, what do we see? How do we see the DLC going for Fallout 4 after Far Harbor? Are we going to see a lot more? We're going to see a little more. Is it going to be more content heavy? Are they going to learn from their the minor and major mistakes from Wasteland Workshop and Automatron?
Minor. Not really minor.
Hey, I enjoy Wasteland Workshop.
It's
It's
I
my
play
kind
an
of DLC.
Xbox One, so for me it adds a bunch of stuff that I couldn't even access if I wanted to.
Mods.
I mean, even with mods, I still quite enjoy Wasteland Workshop. So,
I'm a,
the way I see it is Bethesda's going to be in for another 3 DLC after Far Harbor. Probably to a similar scheme to the current thing they've done with Automatron, Wasteland Workshop, and Far Harbor. Or they could go down the other route, which is having a few minor DLCs similar to Wasteland Workshop. So they've got a few options. Obviously, one will satisfy the fan base a bit more, and one will be a bit cheap and easy. So where do you guys think this is going to be going?
Well, I think that they need to expand the game. If they were to do, if they had smaller DLCs, like they did for Wasteland Workshop and that other one, whatever it was called.
Automatron.
Yes, that one. Thank you. I think it would cause a shitstorm, and I don't think Bethesda will risk that. To be completely honest, I think they will make bigger expansions.
See, in my opinion, I think what they're gonna do, because when you look at it, in past situations, I believe what was the but actually you couldn't buy season passes with them. This is the first time. But I think that in my perspective, if you look at like a lot of other season pass models, you only really save about $10 when you pay for a season pass, right? So I think reasonably we can expect maybe $60 of content, and we're already at $45. So I'm thinking that maybe what they might do is release maybe a couple more small ones, or maybe one more larger one, maybe a couple more on top of that, just to kind of make up for that whole price increase problem that people were having. And then I think after that we're just going to get a lot of small basic updates, like on the Skyrim ones where they added the kill cam features and all that. I think that's going to be their model, is to bring us bigger DLC, possibly one or two more, and then after that just do free updates and hope that kind of satisfies everyone.
this is why
The
this is why I didn't actually buy. Like, I don't agree with season passes. I've never bought a season pass in my life because I don't agree with them. Because I don't want to buy something I don't know what I'm getting into. It's kind of just like, so like I'm not actually concerned how small the DLCs are going to be. I mean, I want some decent expansions, but I'm not here thinking, am I going to get my money's worth? Because I haven't bought it. I mean, if I want to buy it, I'll just buy them by themselves. I'm just really against season passes.
No, I agree. And I'm looking at their article about the whole increasing the price and all the DLC prices right now, and I'm seeing it says that they have plans for more than $60 worth of content. Now we still haven't heard an extended DLC plan, which is what we're speculating right now, and I think, in that regard, I believe that they should have probably announced something, which it might be what they're saving until E3, though, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, what we do know is they don't want to fall in the trap of Shivering Isles. They've since the Shivering Isles, they changed their philosophy and they said, we don't want to make massive DLC that takes us ages to develop. We want to make smaller pieces of DLC that'll take us a few months. So the likelihood of us seeing another Far Harbor, I'd say, is 50-50. Anything bigger than Far Harbor is extremely unlikely.
No, something I don't want to be, cynical here, but something we have to keep in mind too is we really don't know anything more than what they're telling us about Far Harbor really as of now. Well, yeah. So I was just saying that when you think about the arena, don't get me wrong, I love Bethesda, but when you think about the arena mode for Wasteland Workshop, that didn't live up to expectations at all. So that they might be saying one thing, but until we actually see the content, we're not entirely sure if that's actually going to live up to what they're saying it is.
I just want the amount of time that I was promised for the original game. I didn't get my 400 hours. I got 200.
I didn't even get that. I think I'm stuck at 70 right now.
Where's that content, Bethesda? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Overpromising
and for me, one of the I think I wrote an article on this a while ago too. One of the biggest things I think that they had a problem with in this game was that they didn't provide a lot of direction, which a lot of people will say that they like, not having direction, but usually in other games you have quests that make you travel to the other side of the area, and you pass through all these towns, and you go and you speak to all these people and get all these quests, and it makes your log fill up. And now I'm not saying that there's not a lot of content in Fallout 4, but it seems like everything's kind of bunched up around Diamond City, especially if you look at the map. It's just like Diamond City galore. So
it's hard to click. It's hard to click on things on that map around there. It's cluttered.
Yeah, it really is, and that's the whole thing. I think that if they were to provided more of a direction, then that content might be there. So,
I mean, there was heaps of quests. I mean, I went back through my log for my first playthrough, and there's a shit ton of them, but they're all really quick, and it's all go kill this thing. They're like,
pretty much.
I mean, I don't mind that. Like, I like to shoot shit. It's fun, but I did miss, I remember in New Vegas. I'm gonna bring that up a lot because I love New Vegas. But there was heaps of quests where you have to go just find information about something, and there was that one where you had to find the person that killed Boone's wife. I loved that. That was great. I didn't have to. Oh wait, I did have to kill. Well, I didn't kill the person. Boone did, but still, there wasn't enough of that kind of stuff. And I know that they're completely different developers, but it's the same license. They could have just gone, that was cool. Let's do that. But instead, I have to go shoot raiders at the same place over and over again.
Yeah, I think it's more of a Bethesda philosophy at the moment.
Borderlands.
Just focusing more on content. I mean, not quality of content, but quantity of content. rather than big quests that really get you involved. I mean, I love that. Even though the Boon quest was quite short, it was pretty fun, and there were multiple paths. Like you could have got someone who's innocent and brought them out in front of the dino statue and had Boone kill them.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I still love, I love the game. It's like it would probably be my. I don't know where I'd actually rank it, but I like it, so I will bitch about it a lot. But that's only because I want it to be better.
Oh yeah, and see that's the thing. Like, one of the things I think a lot of people need to realize too, and this is something I guess kind of applies, but I went on like a really weird adventure of reading really old Reddit posts from like 2012, and there were a lot of people complaining about New Vegas, and one of the things that I read that really like made sense that I haven't heard anyone quote recently was that everyone talks about Fallout 4 doesn't have choice, right? Maybe not everyone, but one of the things that they had said, which really shows how much Bethesda actually gives you, though, is New Vegas. One of the biggest complaints was you have these giant mountains that made it so you couldn't go to certain areas, and then you also had like you couldn't go from Good Springs to the Strip. You had to go all the way around the map in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And
otherwise you'd get killed by death claws. Yeah.
Yes. And that was, their passive way of directing you around the whole entire map, and that was them taking away your choice essentially. And that's, I looked at it that way and I went, wow, in Fallout 4, I literally, on my second playthrough that I started not that long ago, I went straight to Diamond City without a problem, I went off to the one side of the map, and I didn't have those issues that I did in New Vegas. And, it's really subtle bits, but I think that's the main thing that Bethesda does really well, and people might not realize it, is they do give you choice whether or not you look at it or not that way.
Well, there is the fact that there is the rubber banding system. So,
yeah, I haven't really come into contact with that that much, to be honest.
Oh, if in the survival mode, you come across it a lot. I'm like...
Okay.
I had to sprint through... I had to sprint through the city because I just didn't want to get killed. Like, I just sprinted through the whole place. And it was, like, really intense, but it's great. It's good.
No, yeah, I haven't. I'm kind of excited to try survival mode. I don't know what is coming for consoles as of yet, but
hopefully soon.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's frustrating, but it's fun. We've changed topics.
Yeah, we have.
Survival mode.
Yeah, sorry about that. The host was currently changing into their gym clothes. Anyway, sorry about this. Anyway, the next topic we do have today is, I'd call it pretty semi-interesting, the PS4.5. Now, I'm a PC elitist. I don't shove in your face. I try to convert you,
yes, you do.
through
You do shove it in
true
your
knowledge.
Face. You shove it in my face every time we're on Snapchat.
PC Master Race.
PS4.5. The premise of this is basically a 4K 30 FPS gaming console. Now, to counter this,
FPS.
Xbox... Oh, 30 FPS, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
4K 30 FPS, yep.
Lel.
What was I saying? Microsoft has said they aren't planning on doing their own version of a half-generation leap. So only Sony is currently actually working on this, and they actually have confirmed this. It started off as a rumor, but they confirmed it less than a week later. They are developing a half-generation console. So this console, as I said, will be a 4K gaming console that plays games at 30 FPS. I see a lot of problems with this, a lot. Mainly one of them is that you will need a 4K TV minimum.
So
what are our thoughts on this one? Well, you can play. You can play on a 1080p TV, but you won't be. There's no point buying a console then.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's good if you want to play 1440 or 4K, but it's only really good for those two resolutions. So you do need to buy a $1,000 TV.
Well,
So yeah. So what do you? Sorry, go on.
no, I mean, I don't mind who goes first.
Oh, I was gonna say, what's our opinions on this? So.
This is the elitist of me, but it's not really even like it's just smart. Just buy a PC. Honestly, you've just bought 2 fucking consoles for God's sakes. Just buy a PC, please. Thank you.
See, and I don't actually disagree with this statement because at this point, it's becoming, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. In the perspective of, I know I had this argument with Boomer not that long ago, but consoles are mainly for convenience and for the people who don't want to screw with PCs. So the upfront costs are lower, and when you start going and making consoles every 2 or 3 years, that completely takes away 70%, if not like basically most of the what makes a console valuable. So at this point in time, now you need to buy a new generation of consoles, and then what does that mean? That every time a new resolution comes out, we're gonna have to buy a new one every 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna need to buy 5K and 8K gaming consoles soon. So
but I mean, like at the end of the day, I get that they're cheaper, but they're cheaper at the start. Then you've got to start buying. I don't know how the PS4 works, but I know the Xbox has like Xbox Live or whatever. I don't have to pay I don't have to pay for Steam to play online on Steam. I don't have to pay to play with my friends. And then they bring up the argument of, well, you have to pay for your internet. And I'm like, well, you have to pay for Xbox Live and your internet, you fool. And then it's just...
Well, if you look at it this way, when you pay for Xbox Live, you're paying to play online, yes. But one of the things that kind of balance it out, not a lot, by any means am I saying that this is, definitely justified, but I'm just saying that they give you, I think now 3 free games on the Xbox 1 month. So, technically, if the games, even if you go to GameStop and they were going to be $15 a pop, you just got $45 that month.
Yeah, but then, I mean, yes, I can agree with that, but then I can say, like Steam has pretty great, like, they have awesome sales, and then you can go to Humble Bundle, and Humble Bundle's brilliant.
It is. I love it.
It's
why I have 429 games.
This is in no way sponsored by Humble Bundle, by the way. People, don't fucking put that in the comments. So you can get games in there for like really cheap, and I don't have to pay for Xbox Live, so I've lost track of what I was talking about.
Well, I can relate. I mean, like, what's Xbox Live? It costs more over here, but it's like $15 a month, is it?
For me, it would be, I could buy it for $60 for a year, and that's like the cheapest way to do it.
Yep.
So that would be
really expensive.
About $5 a month.
Jesus Christ, it's really fucking expensive. Here.
Yeah, it is. People like spend $300 on it.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with like Australia's transfer rates. Really, it's not like.
It's not. No, it's actually, they have this thing called the Australian tax, where they say it costs more to import goods here, even if those goods are digital, which makes 0 sense. So they charge us more, and the government refuses to do anything about it. Anyway,
that's ridiculous.
What was I going to say? Well, the way I see it is, if I buy a game, I have internet, why should I pay for another service to play that game? Now, obviously Steam and Origin are a free service, but not all games are DRM on the PC. So if I just want, and what if I'm in a situation where I earn jack shit like I do now, and I have to pay a subscription fee, and that's extra money that I don't have, or so it actually can become inaffordable. Now, if I play on the PC, as long as I have an internet connection, I'm all sweet. I'm ready to play. But it's different for the consoles. I mean, I liked how it was on the PS3. On the PS3, if you had internet, you could connect to internet. If you paid for PlayStation Plus, you got a free game every month and some other
Yep.
bonuses like that.
Well,
which is what I believe is a good system.
if you look at basically how the PlayStation Network was versus the network for the Xbox system when the 360 was around, you'll see exactly why they started charging. And PlayStation went down several times for a long period of time, and it's a simple fact that you need to make some kind of revenue back from a service. So, just like Sugarbombed, like we have to stay at a consistent rate of what the server costs at the very least, or else we are essentially losing a massive amount of money. So, and you can't upgrade your service without having revenue. So for Sony, they weren't getting any revenue back, so they weren't making any adjustments and upgrades to their server. Now, while Xbox continuously was making upgrades to their server with the money that they were getting, and they didn't have any kind of massive, credit card leaks or anything like that Sony did back when PlayStation 3 and, their last generation.
Now, another thing I see if this is, oh shit, I had a really good point. And now it's just gone. Oh, damn. You guys keep talking, it'll come back to me in a second.
Well, basically, when you look at this, well, I'm sure Steam has something worked out with the publishers and with, the developers and all that they get some kind of cut from their sales. And when you really look at it in the sense that, versus, or let's put it this way: if you have to print a disc, you have to pay for the price of printing the disc, putting the data on the disc, making the case, and shipping it. With digital, all those costs go away, so you could sell your product for much less. And that's why, before this generation came out of consoles, Microsoft was trying to get Xbox to be more digital, like Steam, because essentially you could easily reduce the costs and possibly, alleviate a lot of these other costs, and they could work out deals with publishers saying, look, instead of having to print these copies, we can sell it for cheaper on the digital, and you'll get more money. If you put that in perspective, I guess.
I mean, one of the reasons they have an upkeep for Xbox Live and PSN is they say server costs. Now, the servers are usually, the ones I'm talking about, are usually run by developers. They do have ways of offshooting this, but they don't want to. They can make dedicated servers just like they do on PC, but that would require people to use their PCs to host dedicated servers, or people pay rental, but it would be a cheaper option for them, but they won't do it because it removes that console element from it.
Well,
if that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure that a lot of servers are actually hosted by actually, I'm trying to think about it. I'm not sure if the servers are directly hosted by developers in a lot of times, or because Microsoft does have their cloud servers now that I believe developers have access to, and they can host multiplayer games on them. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm not going to speak really too much on this just because I don't know for sure. But I would assume that if they were to put it to the point where if they were to do peer-to-peer, then you could alleviate having to host your own service. But the problem with that would be, you'd have to have faster internet for people with consoles, and then they would also have the same exact problem with modding that they had prior to this.
Yeah. So my final thought on the PS 4.5 is, while I wouldn't say it's a noble idea, but it's a interesting idea.
It's cash grab.
It is, and it kind of furthers my point that there are more benefits going over the PC in this regard, because you'll be able to pay at least at launch the price for a PS 4.5 and a 4K game PC will be the same. Obviously, the 4.5 will go down in price due to mass manufacturing, blah blah blah, economics, blah blah blah. It gets cheaper over time, but at launch it'll be cheaper to just get a PC, and you'll be able to customize it more if you're willing to watch a few YouTube videos on how to. and you'll have a better gaming experience in that regard. If you have a lot of money to spend and you don't really care, then I'm fine with you getting a 4.5. So I guess it's all down to a matter of money in the long run.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
we really
will.
did get off track.
I have a last point. I will never deny that a PC, well, it depends what you're buying, but if you want the best, PCs are not cheap. They're not. But in the long run, they are cheaper.
Yeah, you will save a lot more money on games if you buy through PC,
Games,
because you can buy through
I don't.
Oh,
Steam or third parties.
Yeah, and that's entirely true. But I think one of the things that, in my opinion, basically the best course of action for people who, have a PS4 or an Xbox One and want to play in 4K, if you like you said, if they want to buy it, that's great, and if they want to go to PC, that's awesome too. But otherwise, I would just personally recommend riding out this generation because in reality, if PlayStation decides to start cutting support off for the PlayStation 4, they're going to piss off a lot of people. So they're going to continue to support their legacy, I guess you can call it now, PlayStation 4. And the Xbox One is still going to be continued to be supported regardless of what they do. And just ride it out into the next generation when 4K is going to be probably standard by that point. And then spend, the typical $400 for a new console if that's what tickles your fancy, I guess.
Yeah. And it also might actually... It might start alienating other user base too, because I am sure they're going to release games that are only for the 4K, and other people that kind of for the 4K won't be able to play those games, and their friends might have the 4K, and it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, and I think that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to see because, if that happens, I expect a definite backlash of people saying, well, that's not fair. Basically, I have a PlayStation 4 as well. So
yeah.
There is one benefit to this. It's actually good for PC gaming because it might mean that the next console generation, the full console generation, will come in earlier, which means that PC games won't be downgraded graphically, or even scripting needs to be downgraded for consoles due to CPU or APU limits on the consoles. So if a new generation of consoles comes out earlier, it's great for the PC gamer. I mean, as a PC gamer, I got excited for the PS4 and Xbox One because I knew that would mean that my games were going to be better now because they'll stop they won't be downgraded anymore. So yeah, I think we've all pretty much established opinions on that one. So Red Dead 2 leaks. Now, to clarify, I do know about Red Dead Revolver, but the way it's more commonly known as Red Dead 2, I mean, the sequel to Red Dead Redemption is more commonly known as Red Dead 2. I do know about Red Dead Revolver, so stop with the corrections on that one. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Red Dead 2 recently had a leak where a map was leaked. Sources close to Rockstar claim that it is an actual map for Red Dead 2. In this map, the interesting feature is it may be a prequel, and it will it will actually contain islands, which will make it. I don't know how they're going to implement these islands, how you're going to travel these islands, but they're going to be in the game. So, what are our opinions on this one?
You can travel with canoes or arcs.
Yeah.
Reference to ham radio.
My thoughts on the new Grand Theft Auto Wild West is not much. I only played the multiplayer for Red Dead, so yeah.
I guess my opinion is that I played Red Dead. I guess I played Red Dead Redemption, and then I played a little bit of the zombie DLC, and I don't know. I mean, I was kind of on it, to be honest. But the main thing that I'm looking at when I'm thinking of Red Dead 2 and what's been stated from the leaks, I think that I mean, honestly, I think it's going to be interesting just because we are further enough along just to see what kind of perspective to take on it. But other than that, but there's not much really else I can really say other than that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I played the original, not original, sorry, the Red Dead Redemption on PS3. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it had as much content or quality as GTA 5, but it was very, very enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to it, but I also know that they probably won't release on PC because Rockstar doesn't like to release stuff on PC, at least early. So I'm excited. I'm semi-excited for it. As a PC gamer, I mean, there's a 50-50 chance I might get it, and it'll probably be 2 years after release. Yeah, so sorry to our viewers for our very limited opinions on this, but
Oh well, I have an
as I
opinion,
said,
and I hope that it's not as buggy as the first, or as Red Dead Redemption. I couldn't even beat
So,
a certain part of the game because I kept sinking into a mountain.
so next topic, that was a very short topic, is the Elder Scrolls Legends. Now, this one has kind of dropped off the map. It was originally meant to be released last year, if I recall correctly. It has been delayed this year. The developers aren't actually owned by ZeniMax or Bethesda Softworks, so they're a third party.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I just found it out yesterday,
I
so
didn't even know that.
bit interesting. Yeah, it's a game that is basically Half-Fire. It's basically Half-Fire except Elder Scrolls. There might be minor adjustments, but you're basically going to be playing a similar game.
It's milking the trend.
I'm okay with that because I love my TES universe, so I really want to play it. I have wanted to play Half-Fire. I haven't got around it to yet, but this might be a good way to start off for me. So I'm actually pretty excited for it. I believe it's free to play. I hope so. It better be. yeah, it is. It's good. It's definitely going to be free to play. So it's going to be interesting, but I don't think it's going to compete with something like Half-Fire. Yeah. I mean, you could compare it to Gwent that's how it's probably going to go, except of course it won't be in-game, it'll be its own solo game. So it is worrying that a card game has been delayed so long. It could be due to server issues, server implementation, or balancing and stuff, but it's still worrying it's taken this long. Also, I mean, we can only hope that they really abide to the Elder Scrolls lore, because as I said, it's made by a third party, so they would hopefully have advisors from Bethesda, but we just don't know. So what are our thoughts on this one?
Well, I'm looking right now. It's actually developed by Direwolf Digital. Now, if you go,
Yep.
and I don't know how much you really looked into that much, but it looks like they mainly do like, these types of games, and really it seems like they're developing like 4 games simultaneously, and that might be. Yeah, they're developing 4 games simultaneously, and they haven't put out one game yet. It seems like, so that might be why they're postponing things, is because they don't have maybe enough manpower to actually continuously to actually develop everything they need to.
I mean, this is one of those games where I could have, I felt it would have been better developed by Bethesda as one of their side projects, like Fallout Shelter. Obviously, if it was made by Bethesda, it'd be a bit harder for them to continuously support it. Or ZeniMax, even though they're focusing on the Elder Scrolls Online, which has improved quite a bit. But yeah, so it's a bit worrying for me that they chose to go through a third party. They obviously contracted them to make the game, so which is probably bad for what's the studio called? Something Wolf.
Direwolf.
Because Direwolf. They'll be probably losing money because they're taking so long to develop the game. So it's a shame they decided to go through a third party, especially since it's something so core to ZeniMax, since this is how ZeniMax made all their money to begin with Morrowind and Oblivion.
Well, now if you look at it from basically like the costs to develop an app, which is, I know I talked about this when I was streaming at one point in time about Sugarbombed, like something as simple as an app that would integrate with Sugarbombed is literally, worth $50,000 to developers. Now that's not necessarily something hard to develop, so I'm assuming that like a game like this is probably worth maybe a couple, maybe like they have a contract and they get a percentage of profits, but I'm assuming that they're getting paid a decent amount basically to do this, like maybe in the range of $100,000 to create this game. So I just don't know if if they're actually very serious about Elder Scrolls Legends. It might just be something they don't want to put a lot of effort into, but they just want to test to see how well this is going to do and if it's something to dedicate more time into in the future.
Well, I mean, if it works out, they might shift it to another development studio. They might buy Direwolf Studios. There's so many courses they might go through from a business standpoint. If it's obviously successful, if it competes on the same level as Half-Life, they're going to invest quite a bit of money into it because it could bring in quite a bit of revenue. So I'm hoping that it is successful because this is a game that I would enjoy. I really enjoyed Gwent in The Witcher. I haven't played Half-Life yet. I have wanted to, but when I heard about Elder Scrolls Legends, I obviously changed my mind and just been waiting for this one to come out, which is taking quite a while.
Yeah.
Mitch.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no one. Oh, we can go silence or.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm alive.
Got any
I'm not big on the card game things, but I mean, if it's good, I might have a go.
Okay.
I mean, I completely forgot that the game actually was being made until
I completely
until I saw it on the list, and I was like, "That's right, that game." I heard about that. Yeah. So, I mean, if it's decent, I'll of course give it a go. I mean, if it's free as well, yeah, of course. But card games are not really something I get into. I try to get into Hearthstone, but nah, it's not.
Oh, I was saying Half-Life, wasn't I? I mean Hearthstone or Half-Life.
Oh, I thought I got it wrong.
No, you got it right.
Points for Meech. But yeah, I mean, if it's good, sure, cool. But if it's bad, I'm just gonna be like, all right.
It won't be a huge loss.
Nah.
No.
And like, and because it's not being made by Bethesda, I don't think people are gonna be like, "You suck, Bethesda." They're gonna be like, "Well, this is shit."
Oh no, they will, because everyone thinks that if Bethesda has a name on it, they've developed it.
I hate that when this is a rant. All right, this is just gonna be quick. Okay, but when people go like, let's say a developer makes a game, and the game's bad because of the DLCs. That's the publisher's fault, not the developer.
Well, what I mean is,
I just hate that.
Elder Scrolls Online was published by Bethesda, but it was obviously made by ZeniMax Online.
Yeah,
so a lot of people put their blame on Bethesda.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, it's not Bethesda's fault. I mean, it is Bethesda's fault in a way for saying, yeah, that's cool, release that. But I mean, it wasn't meant to be a big thing. It was just meant to give us something. It was.
Oh, what I mean is, a lot of people think that Bethesda actually develops all these games. People don't know the difference between a publisher and a game developer. For example, I think some people even thought that Bethesda made Rage mainly because they published the game, when of course all they did was publish it. So it's annoying that people always make this connection that because they're publishing the game, they're making it. Anyway, that's a little bit off topic, but anyway. So I think we've all got a pretty good final opinion on this one. So we'll move on to the last topic of the day, Bethesda E3. Now, this is a topic we're going to discuss probably in the next podcast and some more podcasts after that, leading up to the E3, which is in June. So I think obviously Bethesda last year after the previous conference was saying how we're only going to do E3s, we're only going to have our own conferences when we believe that we have enough content to release. Now, a lot of people are speculating that this might be a TES 6 announcement, which does follow the 6-year gap between TES games. The 5-year gap, not 6-year gap, between TES games. But that's just a connection. That's a weird connection. So, and I mean, they're still developing Fallout 4, but a lot of people are saying that this could be the Bethesda 6. Personally, I don't see it for at least another year, for at least an announcement, but it could be, potentially. I'd say it's a very low chance of that happening. But obviously they have something to announce, so what could they be announcing? That is the big question.
Now, I personally think that they're going to just be talking about their plans for the extended couple of years or so, because when you look at the track record from the previous games, I believe Fallout 3 was released in 2008, and then Skyrim was in 2011. So Fallout 3 was obviously their first game. Now, that means that we could reasonably expect 3 years later, after Fallout 4, in that time frame, for there to be, another Elder Scrolls. Now, I don't know if that's going to be, um, basically follow that trend, because, I know I was talking about it earlier, their engine isn't really up to par based on what it could be. And then there's a lot of other factors that go into this, that, games are much larger and more complex than they used to be, that 3-year timeline might actually increase, because they only have a small development team as it is as well.
It is a pretty small development team, and their engine has been updated since 2001. For comparison, Infinity Ward and Treyarch, they've been constantly editing the same engine since the original Call of Duty. Obviously, it's been heavily modified, but it's still the same engine. Now, it looks like Bethesda is going down that route, but they do need a new engine, or they really need to extremely modify it, because they modified it quite a bit, the Skyrim, but they say they modified it quite a bit, but it was pretty damn similar to Oblivion and Fallout 3 in the quality of its engine. So we can only hope they're finally saying, fuck it, we're buying a new engine, or we're making new engines from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you make a new engine, you're developing familiarity with that specific, platform. So you're making it easier for you to develop games, and you understand better how it works. Now, I don't agree either with the whole Infinity Ward thing or whatever, because I think that every so often you do need to make a new engine when things get more advanced. And that's why, like, for Bethesda, the creative engine, basically all that was they licensed Gamebryo, and they changed features in Gamebryo to make it more theirs and to do certain things. I don't know exactly what they changed, but the most recent build of Gamebryo was a preview build in 2012. So it's been a while since, everything was really actually updated. In
I believe they actually went defunct, or they either went defunct, or another company bought them a few years ago. That's what I think had happened to Gamebryo.
I think they got bought out or something.
Yeah, something like that. I think they weren't making enough money, so they'd get bought out. So if that's true, then if I recall correctly, then it looks like Bethesda is just going to keep not getting any help from the game people who made Gamebryo, but they're just going to keep developing the engine by themselves. Yeah, because obviously they're a very small team.
Well, if you look at, like, the people who have used Gamebryo recently, and in the past there was a lot more AAA studios who were using it, but as of, I'm looking at the timeline, maybe 2010 was like the last year. Well, 2011 was the last year that they was actually used. 2012, 2 games used it. 2013, 1 game used it, and 2015, 2 games are using it, and they're both from, it looks like, small indie studios. Actually, I think they're mobile games, it looks like, maybe.
But back on the topic of E3, because we definitely diverged there. Yeah, that topic. Obviously, it's not going to just be Bethesda focused. There are going to be Dishonored 2. There's probably going to be a live gameplay similar to the Fallout 4 gameplay last year. So we know, but it could be the potential for one of their IP announcements. Could be saying this IP is getting released next year, or this is IP that we're going to be releasing in 2 years. Obviously, they wouldn't want to reveal something too early. You don't want to announce a game 5 years in advance. but yeah, they could be announcing or releasing one of their IPs, um, and obviously Dishonored and their other companies like id, and what Doom's getting released after E3, isn't it?
No, I think it's in May.
Yes.
May, okay. So yeah, so Doom won't be involved then unless it's in the form of DLC, which is a bit early. But so what we do know is Dishonored, probably Fallout 4 DLC, and potentially Doom DLC. So there's still a lot of content that needs to be filled in for a full conference. So I mean, it's really up to speculation what they're gonna, what games they're gonna be showing, or what new IPs they're gonna be showing. I mean, they do have a few development studios under ZeniMax, so there's potential, but we just haven't heard anything.
Yeah, that's
So
what.
yeah, it's all just.
I was just gonna say that's why I don't know if either one of you know what label do they typically publish through.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
Like, do they typically use Bethesda Softworks or do they use ZeniMax?
Yeah, Bethesda Softworks. Yeah, they use Bethesda Softworks. They used to use ZeniMax every now and then, but now it's all Bethesda Softworks.
Yeah, because if you look right now, they don't even have anything past Dishonored 2 and Battlecry and Elder Scrolls that they're publishing.
And the Fallout 4 DLC. So yeah, they've got a lot of showtime to fill, and we're obviously not going to see a 2-hour demo of Dishonored 2. So it'll be interesting to see what new IPs or potentially because they've got quite a few companies. They like 2013, 14, they bought a shit ton of companies, so they could be developing quite a few games. I don't know. It might be a sequel. Id might be doing something else other than Doom. So it's a lot. I'm speculating quite a bit because we don't know that much at the moment, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. I haven't. A lot of these studios I haven't really heard too much about, so I can't really speak much on what they've done in the past. I'm kind of looking right now to see if there's anything, but it seems like there's a lot of newer studios, basically.
Mitch, do you have any opinions?
No.
No. That makes
You basically
that makes it easy.
you basically covered everything I was going to say anyway. So
Now, we are going to have a short episode today because there's only 3 of us, and I need to get to the gym so I can get fit. Healthy shit like that. But anyway, so if there's any final comments from our 3 hosts today, feel free to say them.
I can't really think of anything in particular.
I'll just quickly say something about the podcast.
Actually,
I was.
Sorry. So, basically, Sugarbombed. I could say right now. I guess I can say a little about like 2.0, like what's going on with the development.
Yeah,
stuff
sure.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, currently, I'm actually in the process of moving. So, I started a couple days ago, and I'm basically borrowing internet right now to do this. So I don't get internet for a couple of days, and it's a weird situation. So once I get internet back, I'll be able to start development again, and I'm in the process of getting better equipment to do so as well, and that won't happen necessarily for a while now, but development is ongoing, and people keep asking me when do I suspect a release date. Now, since I did recently move, I'm not going to be able to dump as much funds into the website as I used to. I would stick with the beginning of summer release date. I mean that gives us 2 or 3 months. That allows us to get really concrete information on what needs to be adjusted. What's probably going to happen too is I know Monty at one point had said that we're going to do some kind of beta. And I'm going to be entirely honest when I say I don't have the time to sit here and add everyone to a database just to limit certain users manually on who can access the beta and not, when people are just going to probably allow each other to do it anyway. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to restrict user accounts to, let's say, I'm going to make it so maybe you can't log in and you can browse everything as a guest, and you can only post to certain forums for suggestions. So you can get the feel for the website and suggest things, but it's not the live site. So we're going to be doing, more things in the future. I'll start announcing some features, and as soon as I'm able, I'm going to start development again. Can't really think of anything else that I've really been asked. I don't know if you guys have any specific 2.0 questions while I'm here.
Not really. Just,
Nope.
just I'm just gonna quickly talk about the podcast for just like 2 minutes. What we are going to do in the future is we're going to expand, but we're not going to. This podcast itself is going to become more of a general gaming podcast. Then we're going to integrate an Elder Scrolls podcast later on in a month or so. So we're looking forward to that, and depending on how it goes, we might have a Elder Scrolls podcast, our general game podcast, which doesn't just focus on Bethesda, but focuses on gaming in general, because we're not a Bethesda site, we're a general gaming site with Bethesda roots. But seeing how it goes, we might either have a Bethesda podcast, a normal podcast, or ideally we'll have a general game podcast, our Tezcast, Falloutcast, etc. So we're looking forward to that, and obviously I'm talking a bit far ahead because this is stuff that's going to be months and months later, but we're just looking to make the YouTube channel more active. For example, I'm going to be posting more videos, and I'm making my own videos a bit more professional and enjoyable. We're hoping to expand the social media element, including our Facebook pages, which we discussed 2 podcasts ago. So we are looking to expand the site in the social media area, and we're hoping you guys can enjoy it. And that's the sound of silence. Alright, so so if anyone wants any closing statements, I guess, feel free to say them. No? Okay, then we'll go with goodbyes. Yep. So this has been Boomer, your host, who never ever cancels on a podcast, unlike Dingo, and worst offender of all, Monty.
We love you, Monty.
No, we don't. Then we have Mitch.
Bye, guys.
Oh, man.
And
Love you.
we have Potato.
So, have a nice day, I guess. Whenever this is going on.
Day, night, same shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm tired.
Anyway, this has been the Sugarbombed podcast. Hope you enjoyed it, and this is Boomer signing off.